I'm in the early phases of planning out mentally my next album. I believe it is going to be called Soul Contract, and it will be by Corey Croft and the Band of Phantoms. I have considered rebranding or replacing my band name with a new name to do a new project, but I feel it works as Corey Croft and the Band of Phantoms. I've gone through enough changes in my life right now where a new change can usher in a new era. A hard limit on my album idea that I want to do is no harsh vocals, very little aggressive voice or loud voice as possible. I would very much like to avoid screaming, and not a lot of distorted guitars except where it fits. I would like to use some clean, shiny sounding guitars, do chorus, flange, and echo filters on them to give it that clean, pure Smith's kind of richness. Strong bass driven structures, steady punk, post-punk, danceable drum beats. And now that I have easy access to my keyboard, I would very much like to add piano or synths or vocal choirs or strings wherever they may fit. I want this album to be atmospheric and moody and danceable, and I want it to be gothic. I want it to have trad goth sound. I want it to feel definitely 80s influenced. Songs that come to mind that inspire me here are Swedish Chill by Susie and the Banshees, A Forest by The Cure, Lucretia, My Reflection by Sisters of Mercy. And I would like to incorporate some electronic sounds if I can, to give it more driving, danceable kind of quality. I haven't very experimented much with vocal sort of filtering. That's something I would like to explore. I've noticed as I've gotten older, my music taste has gotten less aggressive and more groovy. And I want to head in that direction. Newer AFI kind of lit a fire under my ass for like half of their album. I really like Holy Visions and Marguerite, and those songs are kind of along the lines of the direction I've considered going, so it feels good that they're doing that because it can kind of give me a guiding light. I wasn't too into their more western bluesy weird exploratory phases on that album, but the post-punk stuff that is on there I really, really enjoy. But yeah, I would really like to redefine what Band of Phantoms is, and then I want to write songs that have a little more of a supernatural quality and more visual and more raw and more sensual and more carnal, and really write about what is good in the world and what does feel good, and try to avoid exploring how negative everything is or how bad circumstances are in the way that I have in the past with a lot of my writing. A thing about goth is always finding beauty in the darkness, and that's something that I think I would greatly benefit from trying to explore and consider. So yeah, here's a brainstorming of what I want to try to accomplish. Visually for this album, I would like to do blurry photographs. For my art style, I would like to lean towards a purple color because I haven't done a lot of purple things in my visuals. My visuals are usually always red or like forest green or white, or so I want to I want to explore different palettes. I just have this image in my head of the Band of Phantoms logo and the Hightower text, all capital letters, the way that it always is, and then the album title Soul Contract being in lowercase Old English font on the opposite corner, and then somewhere in the middle having a blurry photograph of a face in like a diagonal, implied to see mouth or teeth or nose or like the lower portion of a face. But yeah, I feel like I'm reaching into the ether and I can almost pull out what I want. I need to do it.